Well, good morning, good people. It is 5:30 a.m. and you can see Hall of Fame or bust here. Actually, you can't see the back of my shirt, but it says Canton or bust. Get it? Canton or bust. It's me and Game Time, and we are hitting the road. Yeah, hitting the road. Hold up. You can see it's dark out. It's dark in here. The sun's not up. And I got my man Game Time Brian.
What up?
It's so dark, you can't even see the white people. It's so dark.
Yeah.
All right, we're hitting the road. Peace. The sun's coming up. It is now 6:12 in the morning, and we've got our mailman, and he's delivering me to Canton, Ohio. So we've already started. We've already started with the Catboy dealings and Zack Martin. Zack Martin, it is now, is it 8 days? 9 days.
Well, tell them why. You brought up Jalen Smith.
Nine days. So it's $450,000,
Yeah.
almost $500,000 in fines for Zack Martin. And, okay, so Jalen Smith is getting a tryout with the Raiders, okay? You know what? I ain't mad at Jalen Smith.
Not at all,
you know,
but...
For the catastrophic injury that he had and the drop foot and everything else, to still be in the league, it's doing pretty good. It's doing better than, say, Carson Wentz.
I just, we'll throw money at Jalen Smith, because we're getting a deal. Now, I'm not hating on Michael Gallup, but we hurry up and sign him, and
Injured.
But, the one guy, Mark, the one guy on our offensive line that we can't question, you can count on, is Zack Martin. So you need to make it right. I'm not saying you wronged Zack, but if it doesn't matter. If Zack feels wrong, that's all that really it comes down to. When they paid Zack, he was at the top of the market.
Yeah.
So it's not like they screwed him. I'm not saying that, but you should revisit it now. And you'll help the team in the short run. If you really, truly want to win a Super Bowl, you'll extend them.
But here's the problem. Because he threw a temper tantrum and says, I'm not showing up, and they rush to go ahead and do it, then that puts it out there that the Cowboys are little biatches, and if you have a hissy fit, then everybody will go ahead and run through and do the same thing.
Well, I'm hearing that behind the scenes, they're going to get the deal done. They just come out. They can't come out publicly and admit everything that he is, because that's just not the way you negotiate these days. With these agents will say, well, you said this. So, I get it. But, again, so much for the quiet offseason, Mark. Thanks, buddy.
I get blamed for it. That shit was going to happen whether I said anything or not.
Maybe.
Okay. If that's the worst thing that we have to deal with, he'll be in there. There is no doubt in my mind. I think he's itching to get back in there. Quite frankly, he wants to get this thing done and be there with his teammates. There's nothing worse than not being there and playing football. When I tore my ACL, and you feel like an outsider, and right now he is an outsider. But they'll get the thing done. The question will be is when. And the thing is, with preseason now, it's still I still am mystified with how football has evolved.
Yeah,
where you just don't practice.
Different game.
The fact that you had a day off already in the middle of the week, hump day is off. That's foreign.
It is, but knock on wood, they've been relatively healthy. You're not gonna. These soft tissue injuries, I think it's more towards the concussions, Mark. But why they're going the way you're going, that's what it's all about. These soft tissue injuries are always going to happen.
Well, true about the soft tissue injuries. But let's be clear here. The reason why they don't practice like they used to anymore was to appease the Players Association. That was to give the players something that they wanted, so that way they could get what they wanted. Here it was when we did the CBA. Okay, players, hey, you want to smoke some weed? We're not going to test anymore for that. You don't want to practice? We'll get rid of that. So we'll go ahead. We'll get a 17th game in the schedule. How about that? And we'll change the dynamics so you can't really hold out. That it's going to cost you. So that was the give that the owners gave up, so that way they can make more money.
I would be upset with the players' union president. I think it's Demar Smith, maybe still.
Well, they're working on getting a new one right now.
I'm only saying that because they gave up a lot to get a little, if you ask me. 50,000 a day is crazy.
That's non-refundable.
Yeah, it's not like they could say what the only thing they could do is add money on the new contract. That's all they could do.
Yep.
So.
But here's the thing, though. They all making money, though. I mean,
they're printing money.
They're printing money. Now, even the salaries for the players, when you think about it, when they first made, believe it or not, the first salary cap was $32 million. And when Troy Aikman signed his like $10 million deal, it was groundbreaking. People lost their damn minds. And it's so much money out there.
Well, they were talking about the Dion deal with Catboy. I don't know if you saw that. They were talking about 27 million, whatever, how he was arguing with his dad.
He was allegedly threw his dad against the wall. It's like, that's too much damn money. So it's nothing new with Catboy.
So your boy is the issue.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm in love with Stephen Jones. Okay, I'm just saying that at least it seems like we've evolved. Okay, and instead of trashing Diggs and saying he's worthless and all that, and he's just being greedy. And
that's what I don't like.
That they just went through, they got the deal done. And I feel like we're just going to wake up, like he said one day, and we're going to have Dak Prescott's deal done.
Well, we'll see. Now we're hearing we'll get to it. They're going to have to get to it. With everybody they got coming up next year, it's going to have to be done. So let's not really focus on the negative at this point. Let's win a Super Bowl this year, and then we won't give a shit, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
I'm not going to care.
Here's actually what you really actually have to look at and be thankful for. Yes, this shit sucks that, we're having to worry about paying these guys and figure out how much to get them and stuff. The fact that we've got guys that are so good that you realize we need to sign them to a second contract is a good thing. That means you're getting... That means you are getting good talent on the roster and having to pay the guys. It's kind of like people are always like, man, I hate to pay taxes. Well, if you have to pay more taxes, generally speaking, it's usually because you've made more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be curious to see how the running back market evolves now as far as contracts with the rookie deal, because it seems like all the teams are not willing to give a running back a second contract. So that tells me that the next collective bargaining agreement, the pay scale for running backs might change coming out of the draft, knowing that you're not going to get another big contract. You're probably going to go year to year at that point.
Right. The whole thing, so we got Jonathan Taylor, who may be traded. Okay, that well, I mean, it's poison. That well is definitely, there is no going back on that one. Josh Jacobs, we heard that the Raiders are interested in talking, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to try and trade him. But the problem is they want to get out and get traded. I don't know that they're going to get the money that they think they're going to get. I don't see anybody getting more than $10 million right now as a running back.
No. I'm thankful to get Pollard. I was acting cat-boyish because I really didn't want to give Pollard that tag. See? And you agree.
Was that a sign?
That's a sign.
That's a sign.
Yeah, but looking at it now, he looks good. Everybody was panicking that he wasn't going to be ready to go. Pollard looks great. So I'm fine with it. And I'm even fine with extending him on a multi-year deal going forward.
Miles Sanders type deal?
But,
4 years, $26 million.
Something like that, exactly. None of this craziness. Nothing against Pollard or anybody. It's just a running back position. You want to go with the committee. You see Deuce out there. Deuce Vaughn looks great. He looks fantastic. But he ain't going to be getting the ball 20, 25 times. So,
and I don't think you want a running back to have to get.
You don't ever. So.
Because you know what happens.
But you need running backs.
But here's my thought on the problem of the Cowboys with Zeke. Zeke was great in the regular season, but by the end of the season, he started wearing down, and he was not that guy in the playoffs. if you look at, and here's where I hear, I'll get all the trolls in here that'll say, you're just trying to defend the garbage ass quarterback. Whatever, go
garbage. Come on, man.
Oh, that's what I get all the time. But if you look at
it real, that's BS.
If you look at Zeke's numbers in the playoffs, the very first one, his rookie year, he had 125 yards. Every other playoff game that we lost, he's all in the 20s. Last year, after he had 28 yards last year.
There's not many times, when you see Dak. How many times? And I love Tony Romo. He was a guy that didn't have the athletic ability necessarily. Mm-hmm. His body didn't hold up. How many times? And Tony Romo has Hall of Fame numbers, people. He just didn't win. He won't get into the Hall of Fame because of his playoff success.
Yeah,
but his numbers are better than Rashid's boy, Eli. They just are. But I'm not here to argue Tony Romo. But how many times at the end of games where we're marching down the field because our defense wasn't great, and he's getting us in position, and he throws an interception. And you're like, what are you doing? We can't say that about Dak. Dak hasn't... Listen, playing the quarterback position isn't easy. Mm-hmm. Especially against teams like the Eagles and the Niners.
And owning the Eagles. The Niners are just... Listen, if it weren't for the fucking Niners, we'd be great.
I mean...
Okay.
But let's turn the page, because from what I'm hearing in preseason, there's going to be none of this. I called it. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. Mm-hmm. You're seeing guys catch the ball in space. Why? Because they're schemed up that way. So all Kellen Moore, I'm not here to bash Kellen Moore. Yeah. But if you can't open your eyes and see what the issue was, the route tree that they were running, just ask Gilmore. He said it in training camp. He goes, we got to be ready to roll because these dudes are coming off the ball quick. Mm-hmm. The ball's coming out. Mark, what do defenses hate the most when you're playing against them? At quarterback, he gets the ball out quick. You cannot get any pass rush. You're talking about Jordan Davis. You're talking about Jalen Carter. You're not going to be able to get to Dak. You're not going to be able to get him. The ball's going to be gone.
And it makes it easier for your offensive line, too, because you're not having to hold up forever.
And your receivers are already running fast. They're not coming back, stopping their momentum to come back for a ball. So anyway, stay tuned for a great year because it's happening, people. I'm excited. We're heading to the Hall of Fame. Woohoo! We'll do some live streams in a little bit. So.
Yeah, there you go. So this is Good Morning Football here. Rolling to Canton, and we are only 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Somehow, in my mind, it was like 6.5 hours.
Yeah, we're going to stop for breakfast at this point.
Yep. And the traffic's light because we got out early this morning. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And was James Nooks? James, are you meeting us there?
I don't know that he's meeting us there. I did hear. I doubt James will. Loyal, shout out, loyal cowboy. Mm-hmm. I'll reach out to him. But I love weed. He says he's 70%. So we'll see. We just gotta make sure
he's 70%. What? 70% weed?
He's 70. Well, he's probably 90% weed. But he's 70% that he's coming. So
all right, I heard that. Well, we'll be there at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yeah. And we'll be showing you the guy. Last time I went, I was so busy with actually covering Drew Pearson and things and having to go to different events and stuff. I didn't really get a chance to enjoy actually going back through the whole hall and all that like everybody else did. Yeah, but this is going to have fun going through. And the thing that's cool is there's a lot of really neat stuff in there. There's for a while there before they came up with the real helmets, they had these leather masks, and it looks like a bird beak they had for the nose and stuff.
Yeah, so that's crazy. But it's funny you said that, and I don't know how long you want to go on this, but
yeah, we can go.
They were talking about Pro Football Talk had an article I was reading this morning about going back. I don't know the name of the helmets they use in training camp. The padded ones.
Yep.
And, it's going to be interesting. Not that the players will necessarily want to wear it, But if you really want to be safe, you're going to have to go back to a leather helmet. That's the only way to stop or to control concussions. Now, what's the NFL's excuse going to be? Now, I'm not saying anybody really wants the leather helmets, but if you truly want safety, there's no debate. You have to go to a soft shell helmet, but it won't be so shiny, it won't look good, you know, so that's going to be coming up soon. So I don't think it'll ever happen, but what I think it's going to do is allow the players to get a bigger piece of the pot. Say, okay, so we're offering you a safe way to play this game to keep us healthy. You guys don't want to do that, then you need to pay us. So the next collective bargaining agreement may not be as smooth. So that's just my prediction. We shall see, though.
I'm curious. They had the I'm trying to remember the name of the helmets, the FS1s, which were the soft, where they literally absorbed the hits and stuff. They came out about 3 years or so ago, and I remember some of the players were
figure we can land people on the moon. We can send Jeff Bezos to the friggin' outer space. We should be able to come up with something. But it's going to have to be, something soft, more absorbent. And you're going to have to replace them constantly. Maybe every game you got to come up with something new, you know?
Yeah. Got to do something. All right, good people. We are already around the Beltway. Peace.